Hello, welcome to another episode of Maths with Mikel. On this particular episode, we are going to look at Wassce 2022 Elective Maths. I've already done a video on the question 1 and the question 2, so I'll leave the link to that particular video in the comment section so that you can check it out. But this video will start with question 3 through to question 8. That's the compulsory aspect of the elective maths paper. Please kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, Maths with Mikel, and share this video so that people can also learn. Now the question 3. Given that 2 tan 15 all over 1 plus tan squared 15 is equal to sine 30, find tan 15, leaving the answer in a set form or a radical. The solution. We are asked to find 2 tan 15 all over 1 plus tan squared 15 is equal to sine 30. Now you realize that we have tan 15 here and we have tan squared 15. And the question is asking us to find tan 15. So you can let tan 15 represent any variable. So say let m to be equal to tan 15. So if we substitute m into the question, we will get 2m over 1 plus m squared. Now we know that sine 30 is half. That's 1 over 2. From here we can do cross multiply to find the value of m. So 2m times 2, and that gives us 4m. And 1 times 1 plus m squared will be 1 plus m squared. If we rearrange this, we are going to get m squared minus 4m plus 1 is equal to 0. Now what we have here looks like the quadratic equation. That's ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So solving this, we can use the quadratic equation. Which is, can say that m, which is the variable we don't know, is equal to negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. From the question, a is equal to 1, b is equal to negative 4, and c is equal to 1. That's if we compare this and this. A is 1, b is negative 4, and c is also 1. So substituting everything into the general formula, we get m to be equal to negative 4. So that gives us positive 4 plus or minus square root of negative 4 squared minus 4, a is 1, c is also 1. Everything over 2a. M is going to be 4 plus or minus 4 squared is 16. Negative 4 squared will give us 16. So 16 here, and this is minus 4. And this is the same as m is equal to 4 plus or minus 16 minus 4 is square root of 12 all over 2. So this one here is over 2. All over 2. Let's simplify what we have here. You can get m to be equal to 4 plus or minus. Now if I simplify this set, I'm going to get square root of 4 times 3. So since 4 times 3 is 12, I can simplify it like this. Now get m to be equal to 4 plus or minus square root of 4 is 2 times square root of 3 all over 2. Why do I keep on forgetting this? All over 2. So we can break this down. We get m to be equal to 4 over 2 plus or minus square root of 2 over 3 here over 2. Let's continue. 2 will go into 4 2 times. This 2 will cancel that. And m is going to be 2 plus or minus root 3. So we are going to get two values for m. The first one, let's say m1, is equal to 2 plus root 3. And the second one is m2 is equal to 2 minus root 3. Now, since we have two values for m, we test which one will satisfy the equation. So if we substitute 2 plus square root of 3 into the equation, you don't get sine 30. But rather, if you substitute 2 minus square root of 3, you get that value. So we conclude that the m is equal to 2 minus root 3. And we made something here that m is equal to tan 15. So we conclude that tan 15, which is what they are asking us to find, is equal to 2 minus square root of 3. Question 4. Given that f is such that x maps to x plus m all over x minus 3 and x is not equal to 3, where m is a constant, find the value of m if f of 5 is equal to one whole number 1 over 2. B. Find f inverse. And C. State the value of x for which the inverse of f is undefined. The solution. F is such that s maps to x plus m all over x minus 3. Now the question says that f of 5 is equal to one whole number 1 over 2. So what that means is this function is the same as f of x written like this. So f of 5 means that wherever we see x in the original function, we substitute 5. So this is equal to 5 plus m all over 5 minus 3. And we get 5 plus m over 2. Now the question says that f of 5 is equal to one whole number 1 over 2. And this the same as 3 over 2. We want m, so we cross multiply here. And we get 2 multiplying 5 plus m. We get 10 plus 2m is equal to 2 times this 3 here. We get 6. Get 2m to be equal to 6 minus 10. 2m is equal to negative 4. We divide by 2, divide by 2. And we get m to be equal to negative 2. So that answers the A part of the question, which says that we should find the value of m. Now on the B, we are asked to find f inverse for the function. Now we had m to be equal to negative 2. So if I substitute m into the original function, I get s minus, in place of the m, I put negative 2. So I get s minus 2 all over x minus 3. Now for the inverse, we let the function f of x to be equal to y. So y is equal to x minus 2 all over x minus 3. Now to find inverse, we interchange the x and y. So this gives us x to be equal to y minus 2 all over y minus 3. From here, what we want is to make y the subject. So this s is over 1. Since it is equal to, we can cross multiply. X will multiply y minus 3, and that gives us xy minus 3x to be equal to the 1 multiplying y minus 2, which is y minus 2. Our target is the y, so I group like terms. X minus y, xy minus y is equal to negative 2 plus 3x. So I can factorize y out. I'll get x minus 1 to be equal to, let me write the positive first, so it is 3x minus 2. I divide by x minus 1, divide by x minus 1. Now I'll get y to be equal to 3x minus 2 all over x minus 1. Now we said something here that y is f of x. So the inverse in terms of x is equal to 3x minus 2 all over x minus 1. And that answers the B part of the question. Now the C, we are asked to state the value of s for which the inverse of the function is undefined. Now, the only instance whereby a function will be undefined is when the denominator is equal to 0. So C, if we take the denominator of the f inverse, which is the x minus 1, and we equate it to 0, we are going to get s to be equal to positive 1. So this is the value of s for which the function will be undefined. What that means is, if we substitute s to be equal to positive 1 in the function, we realize that the denominator here is going to be 1 minus 1, which is going to give us 0. Now anything over 0 is undefined.
Please subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Question 5. The table below shows the distribution of marks obtained by students in a test. So this is grouped frequency distribution table. A, draw a histogram for the distribution, and B, use the histogram to estimate the modal mark. Now to draw a histogram, when you have been given a grouped frequency distribution table, we are going to need the marks. So marks, which is already given in the question. We will also need the frequency. And we will need class boundary. Now the marks has already been given to us in the question. That's 10 to 14, 15 to 19, 20, 24, 25, 29, 30, 34, in that order. And we copy the same frequency: 4, 5, 6, 12, 10, 8, 3, 3. Now with the class boundary, what you do is you take the upper class limit and the lower class limit. So we can use the first and the second class boundary. The upper class limit here is 14 and the next lower class limit is 15. You find the difference and you divide it by 2. So if you find the difference here, it's going to give us 1. 15 minus 4 will give us 1. 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. So what we do is we subtract 0.5 from the lower class limit and add 0.5 to the upper class limit, and that gives us our class boundary. So we are going to get 9.5. That's 10 minus 0.5. 9.5 to 14.5. So this one will be 14.5 to 19.5. (29.5 to 34.5). 34.5 to 39.5. 39.5 here to 49.5. 49.5 to 59.5. So there's a mistake here. This is 44. Okay, so now that our table is complete, I'll show you a picture of how the graph is going to look like. But let me give a free sketch here. Assuming this is our graph, what we do is we plot the frequency on our y-axis and the class boundary on the x-axis. So frequency is going to be here, and the max, which is the class boundary, is going to be on our x-axis. Now, since the class boundary is not beginning from 0, we don't start directly from the y-axis here. What you do is you bring a short dashes here to indicate that there are some values before the 9.5 here. So you bring something here and you can start drawing your graph. Okay, so this is a picture of the histogram. You can all see it. The max is on the x-axis and the frequency is on the y-axis. Now the next question says that we should use the histogram to estimate the modal mark. Now the modal mark is always in the mark which contains the highest frequency. Now the highest frequency will also give us the longest bar when we draw our histogram. So assuming this is our longest bar. To use your graph to estimate the modal mark, what you do is if you take your longest bar, you draw a diagonal line, 2 diagonal lines, one from the top left corner touching the next bar, something like this, and your next diagonal line will be from the top right corner of your longest bar touching the bar that came before the longest one, something like this. Now where the two lines intersect, you trace it to your x-axis and you read the value there as your modal mark. So this is a picture of how to estimate the modal mark, and this answers the question 5 of the compulsory question. Question 6 says that two independent events x and y are such that probability of x is equal to m, probability of y is equal to m plus 1 over 5, and probability of x intersection y is equal to 3 over 20. Find the value of m and use the value of m in A to find the probability of x union y. So the solution from the question, probability of x is equal to m, probability of y is equal to m plus 1 over 5, and probability of x intersection y is equal to 3 over 20. Now A, we are asked to find m. Now since the two events are independent, you can say that probability of x intersection y is equal to probability of x times the probability of y. So 3 over 20 is equal to m times 1 plus, so m plus 1 over 5. I get 3 over 20 is equal to m squared plus 1 over 5 m. So if I rearrange this well, I'll get m squared plus 1 over 5 m minus 3 over 20 is equal to 0. Now we have 1 over 5, 3 over 20. I can multiply everything here by 20, all the terms here by 20. So m squared times 20 is going to be 20 m squared. 1 over 5m times 20. Now I'm doing this because I want to clear the fraction. 1 over 5 times 20 is going to be plus 4m. This is going to be minus 3 is equal to 0. Since this is a quadratic, what you normally do is you multiply the coefficients of the m squared by the constant. You get negative 60. You find two factors that when we add or subtract, you get the middle one. But when we multiply, we will get the negative 60. And those two numbers are 10 and negative 6. So if I substitute, I get 20m squared plus 10m minus 6m minus 3 is equal to 0. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms here. Can take them 2, 2. So for the first two, I can factor 10m out. So 10m. And I'm going to be left with 2m plus 1 in the bracket. And for the other two terms, I can factor minus 3 out. And I'm going to be left with 2m plus 1. And this is equal to 0. So I'll get 10m minus 3 as one term, 2m plus 1 as the other is equal to 0. 10m minus 3 is equal to 0. 10m is equal to 3 divided by 10 divided by 10, and m is going to be 3 over 10, which is equal to 0.33. And the other one, 2m plus 1 is equal to 0. 2m is equal to negative 1 divided by 2 divided by 2. M is equal to negative 1 over 2. So we have two values for m. One is positive and one is negative. Now since this is probability, don't forget that P of x is an independent event, and that is m. Now probability should fall within 0 and 1. So we can't take this negative integer. So we conclude that m is equal to 0.3, and that's what the question is demanding. Now the B part of the question says that we should use the value of m to find P of x union y. P of x union y. So B, P of x union y, for the sake of space, let me squeeze this there, is going to be P of x plus P of y minus P of x intersection y. Now, P of x is equal to m, and we found m to be 0.3, which was 3 over 10. So, P of x union y is going to be the P of x, which we now know to be 3 over 10, plus P of y. Now, P of y in the original question is m plus 1 over 5. And we know m to be 3 over 10. So, into brackets, 3 over 10 plus 1 over 5 minus the probability of x intersection y, which was 3 over 20. So if we substitute or punch everything here to the calculator, we are going to get the probability of x union y to be equal to 13 over 20, which is the same as 0.65. And this answers the question 6. Question 7. An object of mass 5 kg is suspended by inextensible string from a point O and is pulled by a horizontal force F newtons until the angle of inclination of the string to the vertical is 30 degrees. We are asked to calculate the tensions in the string and B, the value of F. So the solution. Now this is a Lami's theorem question. What you want to do is to make a sketch of the question. It says that an object of mass 5 kg is suspended by inextensible string. So let's take it like this. If this is the point O and we have an object being suspended by a string, so let's say this is the object here, and that's the string. Now they are saying that this is pulled by a horizontal force F until the angle of inclination. So if I hold the string here and I pull it to this side, that's the horizontal force, realize that this point, the origin here is fixed. So the shape is going to look like this. This is how the shape is going to look like, because it is pulled by this string and it is pulled by a horizontal force. So this side is going to be F newtons here. The O is here. And the the body of mass 5 kg. Now we change it to force. So we are going to get, you multiply 5 by 10 and we get 50. So this side is 50 newtons here. And we have T here as the tension in the string. Now there's another statement here. From the point O and is pulled by a horizontal force F newtons until the angle of inclination of the string to the vertical is 30 degrees. So until the angle of inclination, so the angle of inclination to the vertical is 30 degrees. Very good. So if we have our object, our diagram like this, let's make some deductions here since we are going to use Lami's theorem. If I extend this line and I extend this line to make a perpendicular axis, you realize that this side here is 90 degrees. This side is also 90 degrees. Now, the angle of inclination here, which is 30, is alternating to this particular angle here. It's alternating to this angle, which is also 30. So we can say that the whole of this side, everything here, is 90 plus 30, which gives us 120. And we can equally make a deduction that if this side is 30, since the whole of this should be 90, if we have 30 here, it means the remaining side here left is 60. And 60 plus 90 will equally give us everything here to be 150. So we have all the angles 150, 90, and 120. So using the sine rule, you can say that the tension here is vertically opposite to the angle 90. So T over sine 90 is equal to, now this force here, let me take this one. The F newtons is also vertically opposite to the 120. So I get 50 over sine 120, which is equal to the F newtons we don't know. Its vertical opposite angle is 150. So F over sine 150. Good. We are asked to find the tension in the string. That's the T. So I'll take T over sine 90 is equal to 50 over sine 120. We want to find T, so we can cross multiply. Now if we do that, we get T sine 120 to be equal to 50 sine 90 degrees. We divide both sides by sine 120, but sine 90 is 1. Sine 90 is 1, so I get T sine 120 is equal to 50 degrees. Divide by sine 120. Sine 120. And I'll get T to be equal to 50 over sine 120 is 0.8660. So you punch that on the calculator. So 50 divided by this, we get T, which is the tension, to be 57.7 newtons. 57.7 newtons. So that answers the A. Now the B, we are asked to find the value of F. We are asked to find the value of F. So we can take this side of the equation. So using 50 over sine 120. 50 over sine 120 is equal to F over sine 150. Okay. So we want F using the same approach. We cross multiply. To cross multiply. So I get F sine 120 is equal to 50 sine 150. I get F to be equal to 50 sine 150 all over sine 120. And F is going to be 50 times 0.5 all over 0.8660. Okay, so I get F to be equal to 25 over 0.8660, and F is equal to 29.94, and these are 4, so newtons. So this answers the question. Make sure you make a good sketch and use the sine rule to find the angles. Question 8. The position vectors P, Q, R, and S are 2i plus 3j, 3i plus 4j, 4i minus 5j, and 3i respectively. Calculate to the nearest degree angle PSQ. Solution. We want angle PSQ. Angle PSQ. Now if I make a sketch, I know that the angle is located here on X. So if I make this simple sketch, that's angle PSQ. The angle they are asking me to find is located here, so I can put theta here. Now in this case, I can say that cos of the angle, cos theta, is equal to the dot of SP from this side to this side, SP dot SQ, all over the magnitude of SP times the magnitude of SQ. So I use this to get the angle. Now in the question, we are only given the position vectors of P, Q, R, and S. So we have to find SP. So we say that SP, vector SP, is equal to OP minus OX. Now, OP is given in the question. So this equal to negative 2i plus 3j minus the S is 3i. So if I subtract negative 2, negative 3 is negative 5i. And 3 minus its j there is 0. So I get plus 3j. And this is XP. I also want magnitude of SP. So let's do that. Magnitude of SP. And that's going to be the square root of the x and y components squared. So negative 5 squared plus 3 squared. And this is going to be square root of 25 plus 9. So magnitude of SP is equal to square root of 25 plus 9, 34. So we are done with the SP. Let's find SQ, vector SQ. And this is equal to OQ minus OS. So OQ is 3i plus 4j minus OS 3i. So 3 minus 3 there, it's 0i. So I wouldn't write that. 4j minus 0. So this is equal to 4j. Find magnitude of SQ. This is going to be square root of 0 squared plus 4 squared. And this is square root of 16. And it's still equal to 4. This will cancel the square root. I get 4. After doing this, I still want the dot product of SP and SQ. So SP is, so dot SP dot SQ is going to be minus 5I plus 3J dot 4J. To find the dot product, the I components will multiply each other plus the J component. So negative 5 times its I component here is 0 plus 3 times 4. So I here, the I here is 0, the J and the J. So this dot product, SP dot SQ is going to be 12. So from here we can substitute everything in our formula, which is cos of the angle, cos theta, to be equal to the dot of SP and SQ is 12 all over magnitude of SP is square root of 34 times the magnitude of SQ here is 4. So from here I can take cos theta to be equal to, now if I punch everything here on the calculator, you get 3 root 34 over 34. So theta is going to be cos inverse of 3 root 34 over 34. And theta is going to be 59.0362. We leave our answer to the nearest degree, get 59 degrees. And this answers everything for Wassce Elective Maths 2022, the compulsory question. Kindly subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not done so, and put us on post notification. More videos are going to be dropped